Hello, gentlemen. Thanks for coming out. And we have a very exciting hour in front of us, and we're striking while the iron is hot. It's barely 72 hours since you three attended the concert, and there are thousands and thousands of extremely enthusiastic Angelina Jordan fans who want to pick your brains and hear all about it and share the excitement that you experienced, because it's one thing to hear the recordings of a concert, but it's another thing to actually have been there. And there are a lot of people who wish they were, and they want to live through your excitement of having been there. And so, bit by bit, we will have your story unraveled over the next hour to share the pleasure of what you will experience with thousands of people all around the world. Okay,
Good.
so Bob, did you actually attend both concerts or just both meet and greets?
I attended both concerts. I attended the early meet and greet, and afterwards I met with the band members.
Right. And in an ideal universe, Pontus and I might be lucky and actually interview one of the band members, because in an ideal world, we would like to find out
I
how it
would
is structured.
recommend. I spoke with Anthony Harvey, the music director, and a very nice guy, uh, a brilliant musician, and very open. I talked with him for about a half an hour, and really gained an insight into uh, what went on to produce these concerts. He didn't say how the actual date came about, but he told me that Rob Christie basically around the time that they announced the concert, he actually began trying to assemble the team, and they were put together, and they hit the ground running only 2 weeks before this concert. Uh,
Wow.
uh, Anthony said that, and it really came out. The Portsmouth concert was much more informal. Uh, if you've seen the playlist that's floating around, you would see something like the name of a song, the key, and the chord progression. And that's what the band was working with on many of the songs. They had very few charts written out. And people have criticized that band, don't realize, and in music, oftentimes that's what you get. The name of the song, you better know it, the key, and the changes. And then they're all improvising. For this concert, Harvey took every number that they did and wrote out charts. He gave them to the band members the day after he finished doing the charts, sent them home, told them to memorize the charts and don't dare bring them to the rehearsals. He wanted it all in their hearts. And uh, I mean, what you saw in both shows was a very polished performance because a lot of thought went into the arrangements. But it also was, I mean, these guys, were really professionals, and they were not playing off the charts when they were performing. So in 2 weeks' time, it's incredible what they put together. If you saw the shows, you know, you you'd expect that they were with the arrangements that they have, they would be reading off of parts, but none of that. They put together the type of thing that typically, band members would have months to prepare this stuff to commit it to memory. And I noticed between the two concerts that from the first concert, you could still see, it was a little rough around the edges on some of the horn arrangements and things. But by the second show, it looked like they've been, on a residency there, and you were seeing something like midstream. It was incredible. He told me that between the half hour between the two shows, they had a checklist of some 50 items that they went over to buff up the performance. And really, there were two concerts. The first show was uh, very much like any jazz performance you'd see, where people were improvising. It was wonderful. There were beautiful music and everything, but in jazz, you expect some loose ends and stuff because there people were improvising. Uh, by the second number, it was a polished machine. It was just incredible the difference between the two. Half hour,
Wow.
what that made. It was incredible.
Bob, I read somewhere a comment. It might have been Anthony Harvey, the music director. He wants Angelina Jordan to perform in Harlem, and do a tribute. Now, did you get any feedback about what the band members thought of Angelina's performance and her talent?
Yeah, that was one of my big questions. What is it like working with her? And what you've seen in a lot of behind the scenes is what you get. He said she's just a wonderful, down to earth person. She is definitely the gentle boss. Uh, he said she knew what she wanted, including sometimes she'd step up to the keyboard and said, "No, I want it played like this." Uh,
Wow.
so he confirmed that what a lot of the part of the mythology, the boss. Uh, she is indeed that. I came away from this concert having met her and everything. Like when we were at the first meet and greet, uh, it was kind of like a cattle call. We were all lined up and we would go in one by one to get our photo opportunity. And what I was thinking ahead of time was I felt sorry for her that, hey, she's about to make her Las Vegas debut and they're making her do this thing because the meet and greet thing was obviously a hotel organized type of event. Uh, and I walked in and I was like, kind of nervous about meeting Angelina because, she's had a tremendous emotional impact on my life. And I didn't know quite what to say. And I didn't want to like gush and, that sort of thing. So all I said was, you don't know the impact you've had on my life. And I wish you, all the success and happiness that life can bring. And it was, stiff as hell when I was saying that. And then we were going to pose for the picture. So I was like standing away from her. She actually pulled me closer and did pat on the back, Angelina. She was so relaxed and in control. I was just totally amazed that, and when I met her mother, Sarah, in Portsmouth, it's the same way where, you're somewhat starstruck. And they're going through this. It's their adventure too. And part of their adventure is they are really interested in the people that they're meeting. And every time you meet any of them, I met Uncle Michael too and had a chance to speak with him. He comes off as this rugged stoic. I went up to him and Doug Switzer had made these flyers to hand out to try to promote the concert around the town. So I walked up to him and I gave him one of these and said, we're trying to generate some last minute ticket sales. And he couldn't have been nicer. He was busy as all sin getting ready, but he stopped and said, and he looked at it and he said, "Thank you. I really appreciate what you're doing." And he's just as warm in person as the rest of the family. It's incredible.
But before we turn to Steve, I have one question for you, Bob. So when you said to Angelina, "You don't know how much you've changed my life," what did she say to that?
She just smiled and smiled knowingly. Yes, she does
Yeah.
know. You know, I, my impression of her has been very strong, and I came away with this with a totally different impression, even more positive. Uh,
Wow.
people use words like she's a genius and a musical prodigy and an empath, and I always thought, yeah, that's all part of the myth. Uh, I went away realizing those things are even truer than people let on. Uh, she she was so present and in the moment, and when she was dealing with me, uh, she was probably drinking in more than me meeting this person that I've turned into somewhat of a hero, and
Yeah.
uh, everyone in that family. I I saw Grandma Mary walking by in the hallway during the meet and greet, and they're all just wisely taking this in. It's the adventure of their lives, and it's not just their path to stardom. That isn't that's part of it, and it's going on, but it's also I think they're savoring every moment of every person that they meet. They are really that intense.
Yeah. Bob, I think you captured something really, really important because when you describe Angelina as being more human and in the moment than even we realize, I think that is what gives her her extraordinary talent because being in the moment when she sings allows her to fill her singing with humanity. There's something magical about what she does. She has a special formula, a special recipe of what she does. Now, Steve,
Wait a minute, Alan. Let's. Diana wants to join us, so
great.
let's invite her too, and see if we can sort out the volumes and different things. So,
Yeah. While you're getting, I mean, Steve,
hi,
you
Diana.
experienced that with Sarah.
Hi. Hold
Hi.
on.
She was
Hi,
interviewing
Diana.
you.
Yeah, hold on a
Yeah.
little bit, Bob. We'll continue. We'll just say hi to Diana. So, hi, Diana.
Hi, how are you?
Great, great. So, you're still
Hi.
in Vegas, are you?
We are. We had trouble getting out yesterday because of the storm. So we ended up like Steve, I guess. I talked to him this morning, being here another day.
Cool. Yeah. So everything seems to work fine technically at your end. Was it okay to hook up with your phone?
Yeah, yeah. It worked out. It was a little bit, I had to wait for things to download, but I'm here. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
So,
And we can see and hear Diana, they say. So you're
Okay.
live now, Diana, just so you know.
Okay.
so Diane, Bob has just given us the first bit of his experience. And we're going to ask Steve if his experience was similar to Bob or very different than Bob. So over to you, Steve.
Well, yeah, so I attended both formal meet and greets before and after, and both shows. I figured I came all the way to Las Vegas. I might as well go to two shows rather than just one of them. And that was it was such a great experience. And like Bob said, one of the things I noticed and others did too was that I wouldn't say that Angelina appeared nervous, but she appeared more relaxed in the second show.
Yeah.
So probably the same, maybe the same as the instrumentalists. She was just getting her feet under her, and I mean, she is a very seasoned performer, but has to be so much that goes into putting together a concert like this, and she's got to have so much on her mind besides just the performance part of it. That probably even for her, it took her a little bit of time to really get really comfortable, and by the second show, she was interacting with people in the front, and it was just a joy to be there and to watch her.
Yeah. One of the things that was striking is this was a Las Vegas extravaganza show, and they sure did. I mean, they had video and great arrangements, but it was also so intimate, and she was interacting with people in the audience. I sat up front, and you could hear people making comments, and she could as well. And she was, by the second show, she was playing right back and chatting with folks and stuff.
How was it with the amount of people in the audience? I think the selling of the tickets were quite slow in the beginning, but it seemed to fill up at the end there. But they were
Yeah.
sort of limiting the arena. It's not an arena, but the venue somewhat with curtains or something. Did they do that?
I was
Yeah.
really
So
impressed with that. They moved everybody in, and there was a line demarked, and they had curtains set up, and they had a curtain going out to the hallway. So when you walked in, you got the impression that one, it was a lot of people there. I would estimate maybe finally about 1,000 at each concert. So they sold out almost 2/3 of both shows.
Yeah.
And you did not get a sense of all the empty seats. The balcony was closed off. The seats behind the mixing board, and they're truly professional. It makes me wonder, like with Vegas, when they say a sold out show. Well, that was a sold out show. The way they had everything staged.
Yeah.
It felt like
And
it. It felt like it. Yeah. Yep.
Steve,
they're really professional.
Steve, a little birdie told me that you and I believe Doug actually bought extra spare tickets, which you distributed to U.S. Army veterans to give them the experience of seeing Angelina Jordan live. That's very, very generous of you.
Yeah. So three of us participated in that, as far as I know, and so Douglas had found out about this organization called VetTix that distributes donated tickets to events to military veterans. And so we did that. And the best part is, I want to read you some of the feedback. You get feedback from some of the people that attended. And so, for example, one person said, a U.S. Army veteran, "Miss Jordan is clearly an exceptional talent." Another person, "Angelina has a great voice." Another one, "Incredible singer. Her musicians were fantastic. We enjoyed watching the performance immensely." Another one, "Incredible singer, amazing vocalist. Really enjoyed the show. Family had a great time. Amazing voice, fantastic performances. She has a fabulous style of delivering the songs. Totally amazing show." So that it felt wonderful to help people attend and hopefully maybe create some new angels. But getting that feedback was fantastic.
Yeah, that's excellent to hear people that hasn't experienced her before, and to get onto that concert must have been like almost like a shock to them. I know my friend John Roach. The day after he ordered pizza up to his hotel room, and the delivery guy came in, and then John had a picture of Angelina in his room, and he saw, oh, she was on, and the whole town is talking about her.
Really?
So, yeah. So maybe there's more to being in Vegas than just the concert itself. It's also a promotion platform of sorts.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
I'm sure. That I'm sure is not lost on Michael and the rest of the management team. Steve, you make me smile, because it's one thing to meet someone in the pub and tell them about Angelina, but it's quite another thing to buy them a ticket for a concert as a way of introducing them to Angelina. It's a little bit more extravagance.
Yeah, but it felt so good to do that, and
Yeah, it's
it was
great. It's great.
combination of exposing people that had never heard of her before to her music, but also I was just worried that there weren't going to be enough people there, and Angelina would be looking out at a half-empty theater.
Yeah.
So I want to do a little bit of my part, and others did that too, to fill up some of the seats.
And by the way, if you see the after show photographs, I mean, you get an idea of the scope of the audience. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
So, Diana, how was your experience from the performances? Were you surprised by anything?
Well, she's definitely starting to come into her own, as far as I see. I went to the Portsmouth concert as well. And it seemed like she would repeat herself over and over. And she's certainly gotten better with how she adjusts the crowd and not continually repeating herself. And she seemed more comfortable in that area. But I mean, Portsmouth was just phenomenal. But this just took it way above Portsmouth. Like, this was an amazing show. And I have to say, when she hits that very full run when she does a million miles.
Yeah.
It just like it reverberates through you. And like I brought my daughter to see her. It's the first time. And she leaned over to me at that point and she said, "I'm not crying, you're crying." It just really like it hits you. She is just phenomenal. And I feel like there is a big um, difference between Portsmouth, which is fabulous, and this concert. I think that she's really starting to really show who she's going to be.
I don't think I could or would say this about any other artist that I know of, but there's a possibility that Angelina Jordan is better live than she is in the studio.
Oh, without a doubt. You do not realize watching all the stuff on YouTube, listening to her Spotify, uh, the the difference when you hear her live, the moment she opens her mouth, uh, the impact. Even the recordings don't do justice to her coming through. Coming through live on a good sound system. It just goes right through you.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and also she feeds off of the audience. She gets
Yeah.
real inspiration, just from everything we know about her. She comes from a humanitarian tradition, and she feeds off of people. She feeds off of the human contact.
Yeah.
Full
Not
glory
only
to
that,
her.
but I was sitting up front, and at certain points, her eyes were looking into my eyes. She wasn't seeing a glare. She was looking at me, and I felt that. And I asked other people that were sitting in different parts of the theater, and they said, "Yeah, I got that at a certain point too." She is
Wow.
making contact with one person at a time. It's incredible.
Yeah. So many comments, so many moments bring me back to Mary Zamani's ladder painting, where we're not just anonymous humanity, we are one plus one plus one, and each person, each individual matters. That theme is really right across all of Angelina Jordan's life and her work. So, Len, how was
Hey,
your experience?
well, I went to both concerts. I did not go to the meet and greets. I did meet and greet with a lot of people online though, and did talk to them. And a lot of them were new. A lot of them were asking where did I get the pin and all that kind of thing. Um, it was a lot, very interesting talking to them and just going over who she is and where she came from and all that. Actually educating them about her, and that was a lot of fun. The thing about um, Portsmouth versus this one that I thought Portsmouth was fabulous myself, um, but it was a learning experience for her. It was a venue that was different than in Norway. I felt one of the thoughts that I had is this concert here was an amalgamation of both, and she had a comfort level similar to the ones that I saw videos of Norway. So to bring those back, so I thought she was very comfortable, and one of the things
Whose
that I
phone
saw.
is it that's ringing? Is that yours, Alan?
Yeah,
I
If,
I'm.
think so.
Sorry
yeah.
about that. Not mine. Thank.
If you just press on the side there, you can silence it.
Yeah, good
I
idea.
constantly need to teach Alan these kind of technical aspects of daily life.
Well, Pontus, the problem is very simple. I was born too long ago, so tech has
Pretend.
just passed me by. I mean, I don't. I think technology has too many letters in it for me to understand the word.
The, the one thing I want to just say was that there's still that 7, 8 year old young girl there. When she talks, she's
Mm.
sweet, she's devoted, she's humble, but yet confident. And then as soon as that she starts singing, it is another world. and she just goes into this other place, just like she's always has. And
Yeah.
I thought the second concert, just like everybody else said, she was much more relaxed um, on the second one. And then one of the things that I really liked was when she went into that new song about the girl she gave the shoes to. That
It's
was
spectacular.
incredible. It was spectacular.
Mm.
And one thing I noticed on the videos too, Andy was sitting. Andy and I was sitting near each other, and on the second one, and I had to remind him that Sarah and Juliet and everybody else was sitting right behind them. He didn't see them initially. He turned around and said hello and all that, kind of gave him the gifts. I was in back of them, and so they were all dancing to Angelina's new song.
Yeah.
And I learned what Sarah sounds like when she cheers for her daughter, and it's a really loud, squealish, sound that comes out. And now when I watch the videos, I can detect when Sarah is actually cheering. And,
Wow.
I got a nice big hug from Sarah in the audience too. It was really nice to get that.
If you watch Sarah during Angelina's performance, Sarah sings along with every word that Angelina sings as she's singing it.
Yeah, they were. I think the whole, Portsmouth was sort of like a glimpse of what's to come. And this is even a glimpse of what's to come. I can't.
Yeah.
4 years from now, that stadium, that theater will be full. It'll be hard to get in there. And
I feel deep in my heart that the tremendous 10 years that we've seen so far, and from year to year, she's just grown and expanded. I don't think we've seen anything yet.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I sat by a couple. I sat by a couple on the second one from Santa Fe, and they never heard of her before, and they were absolute angels by the time they left. They were astonished. They were absolutely. The security people walking around were like, "Oh my God, she is incredible."
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an interesting story about that. I told you I came with all of this camera gear because I really wanted to make sure that people got more than the Portsmouth concert. And they were on to me. And they came up and they told me I had this little camera, which I thought, well, and this is a really good action type camera. And I figured, well, they won't notice this versus a cell phone. Well, yes, they did. And I had this little, this is a 32-bit digital recording microphone. And after they told me to stop with the cameras, I've left this running. Well, they have electronic surveillance too. And they spotted this not only in a cup holder, but I put it in my lapel. They still knew it was working when I had it tucked in my coat. So, and the security guy, these are Vegas security guys. They're tough. At the end of the show, I walked up to him and I was chatting with him and I said, look, I'm trying to stay within the fence. You just keep moving the fence. And he gave me a fist bump and I asked him about the concert. He was blown away.
Everybody when there was just blown away. Even the first one, they were blown away. We saw the second one. We saw how it improved, but the first one would have been perfect for anybody if they just saw the first one. And
How many?
She handled all those little glitches so professionally. It was you didn't almost pay attention to them. It was just minor.
That was no accident. Like, you think, oh, she's taking a break and everything, but Anthony Harvey said that they spent that entire time doing a blow by blow of the entire first concert, They had a checklist of 50 items that they went over.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. Me too. Yeah.
One of
How
one
Len-
large
aspect-
percentage do you think? How large percentage do you think was angels visiting, watching the show, and how large percent was total strangers? I would say no, but total newbies.
I
It's,
think
of course,
the
difficult
first,
to say.
I think the first one, to me, the first one had maybe 80% were angels. The second one had a lot more newbies. The second one, so a lot of the new people got to see her for the first time. I saw more new people on the second one than the first one.
I would agree with that. The pre-sales for the first concert was a lot higher, and the second one was a lot less, but the crowd size were the same for both performances. So there was a lot of new folks in that second concert.
Yeah, it had
That's
to be.
excellent.
I was going to say one of the aspects of a great performer is grabbing your attention, and for both shows, of course, she started out with the Bond theme, and you had
Yeah,
this great
that was
brass
awesome.
section, the great brass section playing the Bond theme, and then I think I didn't notice it in the first concert. But in the second one, there was even some of the Bond visuals. You know how the movies open up with the eye and Bond, and then she comes out in this amazing dress and
Oh
does
my
Diamonds
goodness.
Are Forever. I mean, talk about grabbing your attention. So besides her amazing vocals and her musical genius, she's a performer and an entertainer, and she knows how to get your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Steve,
I
an
think there was
interesting
I
behind
think there was a hint. I
BTS.
think there was a. I
That
think there was a
that
hint.
dress weighed 45 pounds because of all the metal on it.
I think there was a hint there too, of what she's.
Maybe she's bulletproof.
I think she's going to do the. I think she's going to do something with a Bond movie. I think that was a big
She's
hint.
Yeah.
That's
She
so.
must.
That seems so obvious to me. If they ever make another Bond movie, she's got to do the theme.
They put a lot of
Len,
time
you
into that.
said Len, you said something a few minutes ago which really struck me because you said that to speak with her vibe, the 7 and 8-year-old in her is still intact. And to
There.
me, that is really striking, and that's really important. That feels really correct and really accurate because to me, that's why I don't think she is corruptible. It's her innocence and maturity, which are in perfect blend and which sees her through all eventualities because she's both innocent and mature, and that's such a wonderful combination for her to maintain her art as it is.
I just got to say something just a little bit philosophically about this, but in what you said, you know, I found Angelina, and every time I hear her and now even see her, I almost feel like she has found me, and it and there's so many people, so many of the angels that were at the angel meeting, you know, all had something that directed them, or it was almost like a destiny that we were going to find her, and then she was going to help me find myself. And I think she's just an amazing. I just think she's tested my sense of spirituality and everything else. I just think she's one of the greatest people I've ever met, and probably one of the greatest people ever.
Yeah, I mean it's another show, but I had so many conversations with other Angels, you know, hardcore fans, and that's almost like a continuation of the therapy. You know, like you find people that there were parts of their lives were broken that she repaired. So, and I'm a widower, and that was part of her impact was helping me deal with that. And I was meeting other people that were going through the same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Same here. That new song that she's coming up, it's just grounding her. It just grounds her in her who she is.
I've seen somebody's actually put out some of the lyrics. They tried to get the lyrics from it, and they're as brilliant as ever. This girl writes lyrics that could be bumper stickers. They're banners for life.
One of the
I
lines that one of the lines in that new song that caught my attention is when you're left with nothing, anything is everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
I spent an hour last night. I have an inner circle advisory subcommittee, and I have some other angels, and we spent an hour trying to decipher those lyrics because I listened to that song about 8 or 10 times on my own yesterday, and I got about 50% of the lyrics, and I had two other angels, and then in the end we got 95% because I want to do a video about that song for next Saturday, and the lyrics are really, really crucial. And the irony is, as soon as I finished our Zoom session, I then found a video on YouTube with the lyrics. And I then wrote, and we had a discussion about which I thought those lyrics are not quite right, and then we had a back and forth. But because the acoustics of her singing, the acoustics were not 100%. And also the nature of jazz, the acoustics and the lyrics are a little bit open to interpretation. So I think we have to just wait until the official lyrics are printed.
Yeah.
But there's
But
a number of lines in that song that are just
yeah.
go right to you.
But Pontus, I've just had an idea, because of how they're describing of how people's lives are changed. Why don't you and I do a podcast based around how people's lives are changed by Angelina Jordan?
You're a funny man.
Yeah, you know,
That won't
Steve
work.
Ackerman's doing that 2 words project, and my 2 words were life changing.
Oh, good words. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
good words.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there are others who had the same 2 words, Bob.
Yeah,
Probably.
It just happens. To be honest,
50
it
in a
just
row.
happens.
Yeah.
Now we had a lot of variety, but that was one of the things that was repeated. Maybe 3 people. You'll see.
Len, you were saying something.
It just happens. Whenever you're near her or listen to her, especially at these concerts, even the one in Portsmouth, even the ones that I heard from Norway, it just happens. She changes. You absorb her into your life, and it's a. I know my life has changed considerably since I met her.
Yeah. How long have you all been following her? I mean, I don't know, Diana, for instance. How long have you?
Well, I first saw her on AGG, The Champions. I was immediately blown away. I have a little bit of a background in music and singing, and I just couldn't stop watching it. I had to, go back and watch, and then it became just this absolute where I kind of investigated everything. And I think the one that blew my socks off was her. I think she was like 9 years old singing "I Put a Spell on You." And that is just, oh my gosh, and I haven't stopped following her since. I think my family thinks that I'm a little bit strange because I have this, but I feel like she's an extension of family. It's just, yeah, I feel like I've missed out because I haven't been following her since day one. But I've certainly done the catch up work to like watch as much and get to know the family. And like I said, she does feel like family,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I feel like she's my granddaughter.
Mm.
Yeah.
Diana, how did your daughter react during the concert? Was she converted?
Absolutely. So she has a little bit of a singing background herself, and was one of the reasons I brought her with me because we came all the way from Massachusetts to come down here. So we made a little bit of a trip out of it, and I knew that out of all of my children, she would be the one that would be able to appreciate the technicalities and everything that she can do. And she was absolutely blown away. She said that she is far better than anyone that's out there right now. And she also thought that she would, she's going to be a big name. And I feel like we're lucky enough to be on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Len, I don't know if when you started following Angelina.
I actually found her first in 2014. It was a video that came on when I opened the internet, and it was she was on the Ellen Show, which is a competitor of The View back then. And then she disappeared for a while because I didn't know how to. I never heard of YouTube or anything like that until I found her on AGT. What came up on AGT. Then I got on there, and the songs that hit me right away were A Million Years Ago and What a Difference a Day Makes. And then specifically, I remember and I told Alan this, I was on a trail in Colorado. I was walking on a trail in Colorado, and I was listening to you guys, wrapped in a warm blanket. And it was an episode where Alan was talking to an accountant or a financial manager in Toronto, and he talked about I'll be there when she was 8 years old. That's the day I fell in love with her. Wow. And I've been following her ever since. Every day, every morning.
One song was like the life-changing experience. I'm a science nerd, and I'm interested in origins of life research and all different types of things. And I was searching for books by Schrodinger and Paul Nurse and others. What is life? And people keep coming back to that, and as people address that problem each time, there are about 3 or 4 books, and I was trying to see are there any more people who've done that. So I did a Google search on that, and I found another book, and then her video came up, What is Life, where she's with Dylan Meeks and Ivan, and I thought, that's cute. You see this little girl with a couple of hippies, and so a little later I clicked on it, and it started with those simple lyrics, and I said, oh, how cute this little girl's written a song about playing the piano and playing with her crayons. And then the second part, I realized, holy cow, does she have a wonderful voice. And by the time I was done with that song, I'm there, what a profound song. I've been searching science for an answer to what is life, and this girl has come up with it in a single song. And I mean, that song was just a transformation for me. And then I a day or two later, I said, I'm going to look up some more stuff. And, I started like about 10 in the morning, and I was like 1 in the morning, and I'm like, oh I got to have another. I was like, someone had given somebody a drug, and I spent an entire day just binge watching her stuff.
That is the best type of art. The best type of art is like love. Are you not expecting it to come along and it hits you in the eye like a big pizza pie? That's the best type of art.
And one of the things, one of the greatest things about her is not just her; it's what's happened as a result of her. This what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
All the comments and all the friends and that we've made and all the relationships and
The angel phenomenon surrounding her is as unique as she is.
yeah,
For sure.
it's amazing what has happened as a result of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to meet her after the Portsmouth concert. And what really struck me about her and Sarah is it just pours this love and kindness and sincerity and peace, and it's just so like enveloping and overwhelming when you meet them. And when we were waiting for the second concert to start here, we actually ran into Michael's wife. I didn't really realize it was Michael's wife. I had actually saw Athena in the stroller
Aries.
and was like, oh my, and Aries was in the back. Yeah. But I was just like, oh my gosh, that's Athena, And so I took a picture because I didn't want to get in their space. And she happened to see me and she pulled me over and we had a really nice conversation. And she's like, do you want to meet the girls? And I'm like, they don't know me. But, because I don't want to, they're just little babies. I don't want to, some stranger in their face. But, I said to her, I said, I know you don't know me, but to me, your family, like, seeing the girls, seeing you guys are family. And I think that they get that. But they just do. If you get a chance to meet them, they just, the love and the kindness, it's just like it's so thick. It's just amazing. I've never met anybody like that.
Yeah.
You know, you got
when
to add
Eva,
Uncle Michael into that mix too. When I met him, I was expecting him to be the hard-nosed stoic guy because he always looks like a security guard and with the little shots you get of him. But when I met him in person, he is every bit as warm and kind as my experiences with the others in the family.
Yeah, I haven't met him. I haven't had a chance yet.
Diana, to get back to what you were saying, when Ivan was talking about when he was working alongside of Angelina, he was saying he would come to their house and he would hang out with the family and he would have a meal with them and he would be there for several hours and then they would get round to doing some songs together. And so he emphasized how warm and casual and how much he was embraced by the family. And that was his overriding experience even before getting to the music.
Yeah. Yeah, they very much are. I was surprised at the hugs and just they were all about the people that were there to see them.
Yeah. So I think one of the things which are really striking, I think all six of us are in agreement, is that Angelina Jordan is on a permanent roll, and every single concert that she gives will just get better and better and better. And once the word gets out, historically, people like us will be considered like the founding fathers of the Angelina Jordan community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool.
People who worry about her being corrupted by Hollywood,
Yeah.
I came away from this thinking that, and Vegas too, convocation of angels from Sin City, go figure. The fact is that you have to worry about how Hollywood's going to be changed by Angelina.
I mean, she's so classy, so elegant. It's just
And strong.
and strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, I mean, sociologists will be studying her life for many, many generations to find out what is the secret ingredient that makes Angelina who she is.
Yeah. So should we wrap things up with going to the chat and see if we have some questions for you guys?
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Does anybody have something that you want to share even more before, so I can have a little time to just go through the comments? Steve, do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, so back, we were talking about how, she's been doing this for 10 years now, but she herself said, I just recalled, and then I saw a little video, that she basically said, this is just the beginning. So she realizes it too.
Yeah. Well, Adele said something very, very profound. Adele said that the more famous she got, the smaller her personal life got. I don't think that will happen with Angelina because Angelina Jordan has many safeguards. And I think Angelina Jordan is just a unique experience and a unique human being.
Yeah, the thing that strikes, like we've all done public speaking and things like that. And at certain points, the world becomes a blur. in that moment, and we all have big moments like that where it turns into that, and the world becomes small at the time when you're. What struck me is that with that entire family, they're not seeing a crowd of 1,000 people. They're seeing 1,000 individuals. I mean, that's their
Good
secret
point.
sauce.
That's a
And
good point.
I don't think she sees a blur. She's seeing individual people one at a time, and that's the way she relates to life. And that's wise. I mean, it's profound.
Yeah. I think people were more like that 500 and 1,000 years ago because you didn't have the crush of humanity, and if you lived in a small community. But it's a challenge to do that now, and you need a combination of luck and skill and just fate to be able to do that now.
And the right attitude to begin with.
Yeah, of course.
I think she, all the wonderful things that have been said about her, you always get a little skeptical. Are we really here, or are we just overdoing it? I came away from this concert and the experience realizing, no, I don't think we've even gotten to the heart of what's going on there. That you talk about charisma that exudes from all of these people, and it just glows with these
Yeah.
people.
In one of the interviews that she was speaking with the family friend in Norway who was inspired her to write the book, the last line she said, "Everything is about love." And something like that just resonates so much because the word love has so many different definitions. It has so many different nuances, and it just mushrooms out in all directions. And she understands that from the inside, and we are her students in that respect because we are learning about all the implications of what love is on so many different levels.
Yeah, and I think they are. She is more conscious of it than we realize. I mean, there's a lot going on inside that mind of hers that we've talked about those journals. Those journals are who knows what we're going to be treated to in the years to come.
Yeah. I found an interesting quote from Aristotle. Give me the child till the age of 7 and I will make the adult. And she had some wonderful formative years when she was 3 and 5 and 7. And that has really made her a very solid grown up.
She said in that interview with Anne Linmo that she's had a chance to travel, and she said that you learn so much by that. And I thought, when I first heard it, I thought, well, it's just a little girl that doesn't like to be in school, and I realized it's far deeper than that. I mean, she truly is, and you can tell she's going through life, meeting these people, and then just drinking in from all of those experiences.
Yeah. Long may she drink.
Yeah.
So, Pontus, do we have any interesting feedback?
Yes, we have. Somebody asked how if there is any word about any more concerts. Does anybody know that?
I spoke with Anthony Harvey about that. His prospects of that band being her band, and his answer was pretty honest. He said, "I don't know, but I'd sure love for it to be."
They were really
so
good.
They were fantastic. I mean, yeah, we've been talking about philosophy this whole time. By the way, there was a concert in Vegas, and it was the best musical experience I've ever heard. But, let's not forget, and that not only Angelina, but that band was fantastic. The trumpet player / guitarist, I was speaking with him too. He not only plays trumpet, French horn, guitar, he plays cello, violin, and sax.
Wow.
So you've got these other musical prodigies that were a part of that. And
Rob Christie too. Rob Christie joined in.
oh, Rob Chris, that is a whole another story because he had the real Elvis guitar, the Hagstrom Viking, and he was on the stage. And so he was probably drinking in and living a dream of his as well because he's such a fan. And he had a strong hand in putting this together. So, will this be the touring band? Who knows what the tour dates are and everything. But if it comes together, it will either be this or even better. But it's hard for me to imagine. What a great group of musicians were on the stage.
Yeah.
We did hear a specific number. Another angel spent some time with the family, and she heard the number 4. Like 4 concerts are planned for this year. A world tour is more like a next year thing.
You did mention that there's more new music coming out too. So,
Right.
Also, there's a question for you, Steve. When is the 2-word challenge publication coming up?
Oh, sure. So March 7th is the 10-year anniversary from Gloomy Sunday airing on Norway's Got Talent. And so this March 7th is when we're planning the premiere for this 2-word challenge, which is, to honor Angelina. And for anyone who might not know, so we asked people to submit video of themselves saying just 2 words that say something about how you feel about Angelina or her music or how she's affected you. And we have 57 participants. I think it was like 16 countries.
Wow.
And we're in the middle of editing that, but I think it'll be pretty special.
And Steve, you're coming back in 4 days' time because you're featuring in our next podcast on Thursday. And so it's in the can, you've seen it, and we're all very excited about showing it to the world.
Well, thank you. It was such an honor to be on your podcast.
And it's an honor for me to have met Steve too.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
Man.
Steve, you're a remarkable guy. So you don't toot your own horn, but I will. You're a Renaissance man.
Well, he's the one that put the lay on Elvis Presley and put the pins.
I saw that.
Yeah, here's in case anyone hasn't seen it. So those are Angelina pins on the lay around Elvis.
Good one. This 1-hour episode we've just produced, this should be part of promoting future ticket sales for Angelina Jordan concerts. Because people will watch this and say, "Oh my God, I must go to every single Angelina Jordan concert in the future," because
people think you're exaggerating, but there is no other experience. And I'm a musician. I've been a music fan all my life. I've heard prior to Portsmouth, I went to a jazz festival with like every singer on the stage had a Grammy, and I thought, boy, Portsmouth is going to be a letdown. And when I got to Portsmouth, it's like the experience trumped it all. When you tell people that you don't know what you're in for when you hear her sing, they think we're exaggerating. But whether you've been a fan for years or you hear her for the first time, it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's only been 5 or 6 months since Portsmouth. I mean, look at what she's become in that much time. 6 months.
Yeah, the transformation in a half an hour. It was like, when you look at her, it's like a time lapse of a flower blooming. It's like.
Exactly.
And we had a comment here from Peter Hormel. He said, did Taylor Swift have a concert summary by fans like this? I don't think so.
Yeah. Because in 1960,
the Taylor Swift phenomenon is like, it's also the phenomenon, of the group. But the Angelina phenomenon is truck drivers, novelists, philosophers, nuclear scientists, musicians. The type of people who have become her hardcore fans. I have 2 books that are novels written by angels. I've read them both. They're excellent books. Uh, Steve Ackerman, you might be surprised to learn that Steve Calloway is a budding novelist. He's working on a novel. Uh, uh,
Great.
that phenomenon is as interesting as the magnificence of her musical talent.
There's nothing wrong with Taylor Swift. She appeals to a certain group of people, and she seems like a real nice person. Angelina appeals to people who are a little older, and a little bit more settled. And last time I looked, it's about 40 to 50% of the population of the world. So plenty of customers.
Oh, by the way, I'd seen some demographics. The 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 myth that she only appears to like people 65 and older is exactly that. Her demographic is actually on the young side, and the myth that it's just old guys who've lost their wives or something. Actually, she has a larger female fan base than men, and it's female in the 20s to 40s are her biggest fan base, believe it or not. So I don't know. It's just us old retired guys have the time and the money to actually go travel to these things and everything. But uh, she has a lot broader appeal even now than some people think.
I had a pretty special experience at the first meet and greet. So we're standing in line. We're in this narrow hallway. There's about 25 of us. And Sarah and Angelina had walked by, and they went into the room where the pictures are going to be taken. And then Sarah comes back out, and she comes over to me and kind of pulls me out of the line. And she said, "Thank you for all that you're doing." And I was looking around. Is she talking to me? and uh, and she gave me a hug, and she said she was getting emotional. And I said, "Well, I am too." And then she asked that I go inside and be interviewed for Norwegian TV.
Wow.
So I
Cool.
went inside, and there's two people, and there's a guy with a camera, and a person with a mic, and they started asking questions, and I hope I said something sensible. It's one of those moments when you're not sure. I don't really remember what I said, and I hope it sounded decent. And it turns out, and that might be an exaggeration. I think I know who it was. I had seen them later. I think they do a podcast. They're Norwegian. They do a podcast out of Los Angeles. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be on Norwegian TV or anything, but just
Not yet.
for not yet. Well, anyway, so but just to be sort of recognized by Sarah was just a joy, and I hope many other people get to experience something like that, because so many people are doing so much wonderful work for Angelina and her family.
Did any one of you get to talk to Mary?
No, that would be a dream.
Yeah.
Patricia
Because
did.
Okay, that's cool.
Patricia Ferrari
She
from
let
Peru.
herself be seen, though. She let
Yeah.
herself be seen. She was on the stage
Yeah.
Yep.
at the end, and she was when in the first show, uh, Angelina waved to her, and everybody turned around to look back because she was in the back there, and waved back, and everybody gave her a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't even realized she was there until probably, I don't know, three-fourths of the way through the second concert when I heard her yell out, "I love you." And I was like, I turned and I went, "That's Mary." But she
Yeah.
has such a distinctive voice. And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe she was there.
Yeah. I
And then
think she's behind most of this wonderful family, and I think it's for me it seems to radiate from her all the good things that with Sarah and with Angelina is somehow related to Mary, and it's a shame that we don't know more about her. She's quite an enigma.
Yeah. I think she captures a lot of her wisdom in her art, but a lot of very, very talented people prefer to be out of the limelight. They don't. They either don't want to blow their own trumpet, or they don't want to engage age with the unexpected necessarily. But I completely agree with you. She is rock solid. She is rock solid.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have done justice for our remit, which is to explain what our experience was on Thursday. And I think we have made thousands and thousands of people hopefully a little bit satisfied that they understand the Angelina Jordan experience a little bit better. And people, I think, will be that much more inspired to go the extra 1,000 miles to her next concert.
Yeah.
They should.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you all for coming out. And we did not have very much notice. We've been able to wing
Thank
it,
you.
but I think the past 75 minutes has been a great success. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you.
letting-
Thanks for
inviting
having
me.
I really enjoyed it.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for inviting me. Thank you so much.